All right, welcome back to the Social Made Simple show. I'm your MC and host, man with the plan, Ryan Chasen, and today I'm joined by one of Social Made Simple's content leads, Matt Krol. Matt, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
So, well, first of all, happy Friday for when we're recording this. But I think the best place to start is talking about our first day at Social Made Simple.
Yes.
What were your thoughts? Well, I want to know your honest thoughts about going in, then I'll give you mine.
Yeah. So I have an extra hour of experience on you, I think, just because of my mistake. I didn't check my email that morning, and we have new hires coming at 10 o'clock, whenever they start out. So I didn't check my email, and I showed up at 9 o'clock, and they didn't really have much for me to do because they usually spend the first hour prepping for the new hires. So I did a little tech support. I was troubleshooting one of the computers, and after that, you showed up. We got the seat next to you. I kind of made you the unofficial secretary as as the first person that people see when they walk in the door. So sorry about
Yep.
that, but yeah, it was an interesting first day. It was training was good. I think we started off in the same position. So yeah, it was a pretty interesting first day, I would say.
I felt like a chump coming in,
Yeah.
and I was like, "This kid." I think I was like maybe like 5-10 minutes early, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so good. I'm on time." And I don't think I knew that you were also starting. So walking
Yeah, yeah.
in, and then I forget who said it. It might have been uh, one of the admins that was just like, "Oh yeah, he's been here since 9," and I was just like, and then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, "Was I supposed to be here at 9? It's 10."
So I went to school at UMass Amherst. I didn't, when I was going in, I didn't have social media in mind. I didn't, honestly, as a freshman, I didn't even know that you could make a career out of social media.
Yep, feel
Um,
that.
so yeah, so I started off as a history major. Even going into college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I kind of picked my major as the subject I liked the most, which my parents weren't too happy about, but I think it worked out in the end. So I had a couple social media internships. One of them, I started off my sophomore year, doing an internship for a brand, just running their social media. They kind of just handed me their Twitter account and said, build a brand basically. So that was my
Mhm.
first kind of experience of social media, in the professional setting. And I ended up working for two more companies after that, and then one agency, which is kind of similar to what we do.
Mhm.
So that was the first. So when I started working for that agency, that kind of solidified it as, I think I want to do this as a career.
Mhm.
So I started, just after I graduated, started to applying to social media jobs, and it's a little tougher than I thought. It's tough to go for social media marketing positions as a history major. That's usually the first question they ask is, how'd you get into social media and why social media? You're a
Yep.
history major. Why aren't you the first question is almost always, do you want to be a teacher? You want to be a history
Yeah.
teacher. And I knew I did not want to be a teacher. I didn't, that was one of the things I didn't want to do. So yeah, SMS thankfully took a chance on me as a history major doing social media marketing, and thank God for that because I love being here. Started off as a content specialist. A lot of just a lot of writing, as you know, you started off as a content specialist as well, just writing content, scheduling out content for our clients and things like that. So
Mhm.
definitely writing heavy, which I enjoyed. That was one of the things I liked about being a history
Yep.
major was just writing papers and
I
reading.
will I will never forget. It was probably one of the first days we were there. I think it might have been the second week, and we had just been handed over our first set of customer accounts to fulfill.
Mhm.
And I think all of us were trying to set quotas for ourselves, and we didn't know the other people at that point
Yeah.
that well, and what was like really expected of us on like the timeline from day to day. I just remember that you fulfilled all of your accounts that I think they gave you for like that at least half of the day in an hour.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
was like so starstruck at that point. I was like, I gotta write faster, man. Like
Yeah. Yeah. That's
that
yeah.
really set the tone. And I think it really set the tone for all of the other content specialists that were already there before us. So jumping into like the transition from like content specialist to content lead, like what do you feel like has changed as far as like your responsibilities? To be honest, I don't even know everything that you guys do. I think just being removed from like the fulfillment team as a like not necessarily like that I don't talk to you guys, but it's not my day to day.
Yeah.
So what do you guys do as content leads?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest part of it is just being that second line of defense from the content specialist when they write their content to when we actually schedule it out. We're the second set of eyes that look over it and make sure everything is perfect. I think since this position has been enacted, I know that our team errors have gone way down, and I think as a whole as a company that just the errors that we put out have gone way down. So I think that's just a testament to the position and to how effective the position is. So it's definitely a lot of editing and then handling some of the higher touch concierge accounts, not the franchises that we partner with, but just the individual accounts that have some special requests and things like that, and are a little more difficult to manage. But we usually handle those as well.
How has it been from going from being a content specialist like to having a more supervisor role? Like, is it weird? Like, was it like the transition? Like, because I feel like we've only been with the company for like a little over a year, and like we both transitioned into new roles before the year was up.
Exactly,
so was it weird, like kind of like being the almost like a captain of the team or a co-captain of the team?
Yeah, it was strange at first. I had a little bit of experience in a supervisor. I think the weirdest thing about it was the fact that we were all. I mean, we were coworkers, but we're also friends. We hung out before the world shut down. We used to hang out outside of work and things like that. So going from being coworkers to kind of being in that supervisory position was definitely, at first I was a little nervous to see how that would work out. But I had a little bit of experience in college. There was one of the companies I worked for, it was the same sort of thing where I was in a supervisory position, and then I had 5 people that I managed that were my age, and a couple of them were my friends as well. So I had a little bit of experience with that transition, but I think it's worked out for the best, I would say.
Where you folks and work out of with the platform in terms of like your day to day, what would you say are like the biggest like advantages that it offers, like when you're specifically working within the platform?
I think definitely the scale at which we can create content and schedule out content. It's just, it's like nothing I've ever seen before. I have that agency experience working at college at an internship, and we were just using a regular social media platform, not to name any names, but it was just like a paid service, and it wasn't. It could probably handle 10% of what we do on a day to day. So I think definitely just we have that ability to handle hundreds and hundreds of clients and still make our content perfect and still make sure everything is perfect and good to go.
Yeah. And when you're creating, and of course like I think everyone has like their own methodology, but when you're creating content for Facebook versus Twitter versus LinkedIn, do you feel like you have to have a different voice, have a different tone when it comes to like just like the writing process? Do you feel like if you're pushing out one post to the same network, do you feel like there kind of has to be a combination of all three, whether it's like short form, long form content?
Yeah, definitely. I would say Twitter, it's definitely more, like you said, it's more short form, more conversational. You kind of want to not be clickbaity and things like that, but you want to grab attention because, to be honest, a lot of people aren't on Twitter for business reasons. They're on there just for entertainment, or follow sports teams or athletes or celebrities and things like that.
I feel like Twitter is definitely underutilized for businesses as customer support. Like I feel like the brands and companies, and I feel like with us just being a younger generation, like us being able to go onto Twitter and have a conversation with the company, like if there's like any type of like complaint, or if there's any type of like communication that we want to have directly with the company, instead of doing like a direct like support line, I think it's amazing that like we're able to just hop onto a social media network and there's someone designated to do that. I think it's a super slept on thing in the business world.
Yeah, it's way more conversational. It's definitely, I think it's for the younger generation, I think it's less intimidating than going on to, if a company had their support on LinkedIn, for example, which I don't think anybody does, but if they had
Mhm.
it on LinkedIn, LinkedIn's a little more intimidating. Facebook, it's, not a lot of people want to go on, not a lot of younger people want to go on Facebook these days. So Twitter, it's definitely, it's easier to have a conversation. And like you said, those support things are, it's so much better than, sitting in a chat room and waiting, talking to a robot for 5 minutes and then they connect you to somebody else. It's just easier to have a
Yeah.
conversation. I think organic content sort of puts a face behind the brand, because if you're pushing out ads, you're pushing out boosted posts, it's in it,
Hmm.
your whole timeline or your whole feed is just kind of sales pitch. It just
Hmm.
comes off a little bit tone deaf. So you want to have those
Yep.
posts that, you know, to the naked eye, it doesn't seem like they offer a lot of value, but it just kind of builds the brand, and it just rounds out the brand as a whole, I would say.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree. I think that's when I'm talking to like new customer accounts and trying to describe the difference between like, our custom branded posts and general interest, I feel like when you see a business post something that's not associated with who they are, they're just trying to provide value to their audience. I feel like, you know, they're more than just a business. You know what I mean? I feel like they're
Definitely,
almost
yeah.
coming from like a place of empathy where they're really trying to care for their customer and, and
Yeah.
clientele.
Yeah,
Instead
and
of just
they're
like,
so useful as well. I mean, I do some of the general interest content. Some of the concierge accounts are real estate agents, and it's a lot of
Mhm.
like home buying, home selling, and home decor tips. And I've learned a lot just from doing it. I'm not in a position where I can or I want to buy a house right now, but I feel like down the line I'm gonna be somewhat prepared just because I have that, and I feel like the audience for those accounts is a little bit more prepared just because of that general interest that isn't a sales pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like where there are so many businesses, so many pages, so many places where like you can be learning information, I feel like as a business, you have to diversify in
Yeah,
that respect, and like if you're going to a business's social media and all you're able to consume is just their products, their services, and they're not giving you any type of added value beyond that, it makes it extremely hard to keep your audience engaged on social media.
yeah,
Because
100%.
I feel like, even anything, even if it's like the little things of like, take for example, like skincare products, like how popular those are just on
Hmm.
social media as a whole. If all you're doing is just pushing the products and you're not talking about, say, like, or sharing an article of like how important it is for like,
Yeah.
to take care of your skin and have good hygiene, then your customer base is just going to be trusting your word that they need your
Yes.
product, and they don't know the reasons why your
Exactly. Yeah.
products and services are important. I feel like one of the biggest questions that I get on different sales calls and, just talking to individuals about social media and the differences in the layman's terms, and even more complex terms if you want, what is the difference between a organic post and a boosted post, and why does a boosted post bring more value?
Yeah. So I mean, the most basic difference is the money behind it. You put money behind a boosted post to reach farther than the audience that likes the page or that follows your page. And they're definitely beneficial just to put content out into a wider range, into a wider audience. You can kind of target, especially with Facebook, you can kind of target who you want to see it. The specific demographics and things like that. They definitely add value because if a page only has, let's say 40 people that like it, the organic content is kind of limited to the people who follow that page, and if they interact, then maybe their friends or their followers will see it too. But it's pretty limited as to who sees that organic content. So with a boost, you can really push it out to a much wider audience, and it's more useful for the sales pitchy sort of post that you want to get out there just to drive customers or clients or whatever.
Yep. And then correct me if I'm wrong, then you also have, when you have a boosted post and you already have your set following, that post is already going to be at the top of their feed of the people that
Correct.
that are already in your audience and in your
Yeah,
circle.
yeah, the audience is going to see it definitely, and then it's just going to get pushed out to a wider audience as well.
Awesome. Where do you want to see the company go? Like, what things do you feel like you'd like to see in the next, couple of years of us, growing into a larger company and fulfilling more accounts?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we can definitely diversify our clients. I think taking on different styles. I think we can, if we find a way to utilize Instagram. I know we've used Instagram for our own content, and it's been working out pretty well. If we can figure out a way to use that for our clients, I think that opens up the door to different clients like restaurants and things like that are more image heavy and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think definitely diversifying.
I feel like I'm gonna switch gears real quick. Matt is also the commissioner of our fantasy football league. I'm not playing this year because I really don't pay enough attention to all the teams. My sports are basketball. I'm loving the bubble right now. Who I really want to know this, and have you guys had the draft yet?
Not yet. I think we're aiming for next week.
I don't know if I should ask this question then. Okay, I'll say, all right, instead of doing top 5, give me your maybe top 3 and not in set order, your top 3 sleepers that you feel like you want to get this draft.
Yeah, this is the part of the interview I was looking forward to. So I would say the first one, I think Justin Jefferson, wide receiver for the Vikings. I don't think he was the biggest name out of the rookie wide receivers that were drafted. Obviously, they have CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy. But I think he can fill into that Stephon Diggs role. Obviously, Diggs is in Buffalo now, and I think he'll slide in pretty nicely there. Then we've got Noah Fant, tight end for the Broncos. He had I think he was a rookie last year, pretty good rookie year last year, but I think he's going to take a step forward as their quarterback, Drew Lock, takes a step forward, and they continue to air it out in the, mile high air out there. And then let's do Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones is going to be another sophomore bump he's going to see. Obviously, sophomore year, hopefully you can only get smarter as a quarterback, and he's got a pretty good skill set around him. I don't know about that offensive line, but hopefully Joe Judge, the ex-Patriots coach, will whip him into shape, and he can have a good sophomore year.
Your face lit up when I asked that question. Do you like working from home? I feel like I get mixed opinions on this every time. I'll listen to yours, but then I'll give you mine.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan, honestly. I like the interaction. I like, talking, even if I'm not talking to people every day. I kind of, just like listening to the conversation and just being in an environment where I can talk. And here it's just, I'm at my parents' house right now just because I'm in between apartments. But usually at my apartment, I'm just kind of sitting there doing nothing, and then it's not much to do. But in an office, there's more room to connect with people. So.
No, I agree 100%. I think the biggest challenge for me has been not working past like right around 5. Like I feel like if I'm finishing things up, I feel like the biggest challenge has been just like letting work be, and like understanding that it's just like, all right, you gotta walk away.
Yeah.
Walking away is also something that I literally did like an hour ago. I was just like, during all of this, I really haven't been getting outside at all.
Yeah.
But I definitely miss the interaction. I definitely miss the whole routine of just going into the office, really.
Definitely. Yeah.
And just being able to like really being able to leave work somewhere.
Right.
Even though we would like take some of our gear home, like being able to just go somewhere and then come back into your home and not having it be your workspace. I was even like experimenting like with where I'm working, because like my friend and I just moved into a new apartment in July, and we're working from like my couch in my living room to my dining room table to like my bedroom. I was like, I need like separation between things. So it's like working in my bedroom, I was just like, I would find myself just being not as like efficient versus like being out here where it's like I need to associate like that room with just like me sleeping and like relaxing versus like being here.
Yeah, my old apartment, there was no other space besides my bedroom, so I had my desk in my bedroom, and it just kind of, the line between bedroom and office was just completely vanished. You know, I'd find myself sometimes waking up at 8 o'clock because we didn't have to commute to the office. I'll, you know,
Yep.
wake up at 8 o'clock, eat breakfast, and then I start work at 8:15. And it's, you know, when we don't have to start until 9 o'clock. So it's just like, there was no line between it. But my new apartment, I'll have a space, a dedicated space, I think. So should
Nice.
be better. I would say the people. I mean, I love the people that I work with. I love the team that I'm on. Like I said, you know, we
Yeah, man.
before everything shut down, we used to hang out together. So it's a great environment to be in. It's a very collaborative environment. You're encouraged to speak up. You're encouraged to give your opinion on anything, even if it doesn't directly relate to your day to day, which I think is a huge benefit to any company. Something I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I think just getting back in the office, seeing everybody, and hopefully we have a nice beer fridge in the new office like we did in the old one, and the office dogs are allowed to come in again. I definitely miss our office dogs. So
I think that's one of the biggest things I miss too.
yeah,
Awesome.
definitely.
Thanks again for taking the time out of your busy day, Matt. I definitely
Yeah, no
appreciate
problem.
it. You know, everyone be sure to check us out at socialmadesimple.com. And of course, you can always follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook to check out the rest of our episodes on YouTube. And of course, all of our blogs and our resource center on our website. But until then, we will see you next time.